What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another video. It's Monday. It's new time. It's time for the mock draft Monday. We've got a special request in this one. We're going back to half PPR. We're going to 10 teams from the 4 spot, and we're going to do a 3 wide receiver. 4 spot wasn't requested. That was potentially, no, there's 1 more, 2 more. After this week, there'll be 2 more weeks, and then we've done every single spot. We'll do a 4 spot this week, 11 spot next week, 9 spot the week after that, and then we'll do random again, just making sure we touch on every position. But yeah, 10 team, half PPR, 3 wide receiver format. We're going to take off the million bench spots we had last time. We'll put it back to 6. That's pretty standard. 1 flex spot, 1 defense, no kicker, single quarterback league. If you have other requests, you can put it in the comment section. I have full PPR 14 team league next week. Half PPR 12 team league with 2 flex spots week after that. Honestly, a lot of it is kind of filled out. We're doing different formats. I will be doing a super flex at some point, probably. We'll go back to, we'll do a 3 wide receiver league with full PPR. So we're going to touch on different formats. But if you have like a special format and it gets, a bunch of likes in the comment section below, a lot of people want to see that as well, I will do that. But the next 2 weeks are definitely locked up for what we're doing. So again, 3 wide receivers. In honor of the 3 wide receiver rankings being up on the site, please use those. If you're in a 3 wide receiver league, do not use the 2 wide receiver rankings. In a 3 wide receiver league, the rankings are different. People have been surprised how different they are. But it's just because the value of the position is obviously different when you have to start so many more of them, like total. It's 12 more, or I guess 10 in this one that need to be started. So how do we want to change positional value? Let's make normal for running backs, because in this format, you would expect people to lean more towards wide receiver, though more in full PPR and half PPR, you can still start, 3 and 3, so it can still be pretty even. I think people are going to like quarterbacks this year, so I kind of want to always just keep that on high. Wide receiver, let's make it high. So let's see what this will look like if, even though it's half PPR, people are kind of being a little bit aggressive at the wide receiver position. Do we even... Now, we'll make running back normal, because running back is still important to get early. Okay, I think we're going to leave everything else the same. Again, we'll start adding in composite ADPs probably in August. But right now, we have seen that it is just not. It's not something that we should be adding in right now, because ADPs are not good on the major sites. So let's bring up our roster. Let's hide everything here. Running back option, Austin Eckler. Have him at 7, though. We're at 4. That's not going to be what we end up doing. You can go with Kelsey and Andrews, but those are round 2 picks. We're in the 4th pick overall, not doing there. Obviously not doing quarterback, so it's pretty easy for us. We're just going to take Cooper Kupp. We have to start 3 wide receivers. I don't really care that this format, is half PPR. The top 3 running backs are off the board. We're taking a wide receiver. So easy one to go with there. No discussion really needed. After that pick, we see Kelsey go at 8. Now, in a 10-team league, you are going to see Kelsey go a little bit earlier. You're going to see Mark Andrews go a little earlier. Maybe we consider Andrews the next pick. If we look at running back, we see Eckler, Harris, Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Williams, Swift. So a lot of running backs still come off the board. I would expect a very, very, very heavy run at the wide receiver position coming up. We see Jamar Chase, Jefferson, Diggs, Adams. That all makes sense. There is definitely a tier break after that. The next wide receiver, if we wanted to double dip, I have a CeeDee Lamb at the 11th or 12th overall pick. We're at 17, so that's a really nice value. The top running back, I believe, yeah, okay, we'll pull up here. Oh, I was going to say, is Derrick Henry still on the board? That makes no sense. But the running back tier break did kind of happen. After this, we have Saquon, we've got Nick Chubb, Leonard Fournette, that kind of tier break. But as I kind of talked about in other videos, right here, so that's actually kind of unfortunate that we see this like top tier of running back off the board, and we see the end of that like 5 tier of wide receiver. We would be the first person to take wide receiver here, which is fine though, because technically we are starting a run. If we take running back here, we're kind of beginning a run. Wide receiver, we're beginning a run, so it doesn't really matter. But I do, again, I expect heavy wide receiver here and heavy wide receiver here. So between, the two, I think we're going to get a little bit more lucky at the running back position if we wait a little bit longer on that. Let's pull up like kind of the ADPs on the site though. So we're not going to go with Josh Allen. If we go with running back, it's probably going to be Saquon. I'd be perfectly fine doing that. Where do I have Saquon ranked exactly? It'd be a 19, so it actually would be a slight reach. Pairing with CD Lamb, I mean, Cooper Kupp and CD Lamb opens up a lot of upside. And then Mark Andrews, I do still kind of have it at 26, so it's not like the best pick, but in a 10-team league, it's a little bit better. I want to see how the team starts off if we do Lamb adding in with Cooper Kupp here. It looks actually like that's surprising. So that's surprising to me. We've got these teams like, oh my God, Gronkowski here. McCaffrey, Kamara, Fournette. Now that's obviously awesome, but you have to start 3 wide receivers in this format. And so again, I don't know what these like Henry, Zeke, Saquon. Again, that's fantastic. Taylor, Debo, Chubb, it's fantastic. But like you got to start a lot of receivers. So guaranteeing we're going to see a huge run here, which also has me consider like so many of these teams need wide receiver. If I lock one up now, I'll look at the players in a second. We'll kind of see if that take continues. If I lock another one up here, we have to assume that all these wide receivers are getting taken, and I'm getting better value at running back by waiting because it's more likely that like very few running backs are going to go in the next few rounds. And so if that's the case, unless there's a huge value at running back, it might not be beneficial for us to do that. Andrews is still on the board, and we're at pick 24. We said we have him at 26, although this is for 12 team. It would go slightly higher, so he wouldn't be a bad pick for us. Mike Evans is still on the board. I have Evans at pick 16. Right, it's Lamb, then Tyreek Hill, then... Oh, actually, well, it's Tyreek Hill, actually. Wow. Tyreek Hill and Evans still on the board. I don't think I can give that up. That is phenomenal value that, like, someone can get over here with, like, Mike Evans. But I think the next 3 picks are pretty clearly Evans, Tyreek Hill, and Mark Andrews. If there was draft pick trading, I would love to, like, trade back at least one spot, gain something, because I don't think there's a huge difference between Tyreek Hill and Evans. It's 5.4 spots of or I guess 5.4 on the projection difference. So I do have Tyreek Hill, but I would be fine with whichever one you take here. We can take a gander at the bye weeks. Bye week 11, that matches up fine. Bye week 11, that's fine too. So we'll take Tyreek Hill. We have him ranked as the top guy, but boy, were those... yeah, Evans goes right after. I mean, that's really good value for us. Cooper Kupp, CD Lamb, Tyreek Hill. Whew. We are locked and loaded at the wide receiver position right now. So do we finally see the run? Okay, the run happens. Evans, A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, and then we see Keenan Allen, Pittman, Waddle, DJ Moore go back to back to back to back. Mark Andrews went in the late 3rd round. Justin Herbert, first quarterback off the board at 310, which has me thinking we can go with Josh Allen here. We don't usually, but we could. And then Connor, Gibson, and Akers come off the board. So Josh Allen's got to be a screaming value, right? I have him at 32. We're at pick 37, so I guess not a screaming value, but like a really, really good value. ETN I have projected first, but I think we can wait. The odds that these teams take another running back are so slim that I don't see us taking a running back at this pick. We're not going to take a tight end. I would have it as Pitts, but I had Pitts at 37, so it's actually not like a bad pick here, but I don't think we need to. Deontay Johnson is probably a good pick. 41. So we actually have kind of gotten to the range where these wide receivers are no longer a value. I just think our team, I mean, the upside we're creating, having Cooper Kupp, CD Lamb, Tyreek Hill, and Josh Allen. Like, sure, we've been a running back for a while, but we're going to get a really good one on our next pick. I don't think you can pass on the value of Josh Allen there. I mean, he's the clear number 1 quarterback. I have honestly done my best in the projections to not make him like a 2nd round pick. Like if I was just doing everything normal, he probably would end up in the 2nd round. But given what we know from draft strategy, you have to try and bump him down. But doing my best to bump him down puts him at 32 in this format. So doing my best to bump him down makes him still a great pick. So now we look at the running back position, where Chubb, Fournette, Williams, Akers all gone. Zeke is gone. So we're down to this Etienne, Breece Hall, and David Montgomery range. Part of me is thinking that we're obviously not going to get Montgomery at the next pick, and he's a really, really good pick. Part of me is thinking if we take Montgomery here, is it possible we get one of Breece, Dobbins, Jacobs, Etienne, tier break? 1, 2, 3, 4. And honestly, I would really, really prefer Breece Hall and Etienne at the next one. It's not, I mean, Etienne looks like he's what, that's like 8 or 9 spots back. It's unlikely we get him at the next pick. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's going to be 12 picks that go by. I think this team will take a running back. This team will take a running back. So that's 2. I think 3, maybe 4 running backs will come off the board. And so if I take Montgomery, I think we'll just miss out on the next one. But if I didn't, it would be to take Pitts, and I do have Pitts in general just ranked back there anyways. I would take Etienne if it was a full PPR league for sure. I'm just trying to like basically win this draft with this pick. And if I take Montgomery and I get Etienne after that, I mean it's like over, I feel like. Like if we got Etienne and Montgomery with this team, I don't see us like losing. I mean, we can obviously lose the league, but like we're making playoffs. I mean, if that ends up happening. So I think it's worth taking the risk. We'll see what ends up happening. But with these teams probably going heavy wide receiver, yeah, it looks like it's heavy wide receiver, and it looks like we're going to get Etienne very nicely. So because, again, these teams went heavy at the running back position early on, especially this team here, we knew they weren't going to take a running back. I'm surprised Discount Belichick didn't take one. Starts off with Mixon and then goes Diggs, Higgins, Pittman, Marquise Brown, Lamar, which is like totally fine to do. But I'm surprised they didn't take a running back after instead of Lamar there. Yeah, Pitts goes right after us. Breece Hall and Mitchell come off the board for running back, and that's it. We see Godwin, Mike Williams, Marquise Brown, Allen Robinson, Hopkins, Elijah Moore, and Brandon Cooks come off the board at wide receiver, which means we don't really have much of a decision. We're taking a running back here, and we're taking my top running back, and that's Travis Etienne, and we'll see what's there at our next pick. It looks like Dobbins is still there. Oh, we just missed out on Waller. I probably would have drafted Darren Waller and like continued constructing the super team of having like, Waller could theoretically be the one. I mean, he's not going to be the tight end one, but I mean, a high end tight end and Waller with the quarterback one, with 3 wide receiver ones, with like running backs we like, but we just missed that. I'm thinking we end up going with Dobbins. I mean, even though I talked about him as a bust in the video on Friday, but it was a bust for where he was going in the 5th round. We're in the 7th round right now. And in this format, I still have him ranked as a very significant value, a phenomenal pick. Unless there is something else screaming at us, we're not starting this like Schultz, Hawkinson range. We're obviously not doing quarterback. We already have Josh Allen. At wide receiver, I like this like Mooney, Bateman, St. Brown, Davis, Thielen, Smith. I love this range, and I want one of these guys. Hoping one will still be there, but even looking at like the top from this range, looks like Mooney, and that's just ahead of Dobbins. But because we drafted Kupp, Lamb, Hill, the odds that we start this player over them is pretty slim, so they'd have to go in the flex. And I understand that running back, we abandoned it for a while, and so we have so much more capital spent at the wide receiver position that I just think it makes all the sense in the world to just grab Dobbins here. I mean, he is the top running back, right? Yeah, it's by a lot. It's a pretty big step down to AJ Dillon for me in the rankings. And like I said, I think it should be closer between Dobbins and Gus, but that's honestly more of a commentary on like move Gus up. I think Gus should be going higher in drafts. So risky for sure, but as my 3rd running back, I'm totally fine taking Dobbins there. Hopefully someone is there. It looks like nice. It looks like we're gonna have options. Okay. So still a lot of wide receivers. We knew that was going to happen. The run at quarterback has happened. I mean, in the 7th round alone, Burrow, Wilson, Murray, Brady, and Hurts. So I'm glad we locked up Josh Allen. We gained a good edge over these teams getting Josh Allen this late. Only running backs off the board are Clyde, Penny, and Dillon, but we're not going to look at running back anymore. We see Bateman, Juju, Gabriel Davis, Drake London, Lockett, and Mooney come off the board. We would have taken Mooney with that next pick, so a little bit unfortunate that he comes off the board. If I scroll through the rankings, though, we're still looking really, really good. We could technically go with Miles Sanders. I don't have that as a great pick. I mean, I have him at 73. We're at 77. I mean, that's fine. But for me to take the 4th running back here, I would want it at a good value. Schultz, no, it's Hawkinson would be next. He's at 64, so Hawkinson is like a solid pick here. But I'm thinking we continue going back to wide receiver. I have Thielen at 48. So pretty darn good pick there. Love Thielen. Love Devonta Smith. He's at 54. St. Brown's right after that at 55. So if we can grab Thielen, pray that we can get one of Amon or St. Brown or Devonta Smith at the next pick. That would be phenomenal. Unfortunately, it looks like both are going to come off the board. And Renfroe goes right before us. This team is being annoying. They took Darren Waller right before. They took Hunter Renfroe right before. So that kind of stinks. But yeah, we see Dak come off the board, Cordell Patterson come off the board way too early, and then St. Brown, Devonta Smith, Robert Woods, Hunter Renfroe. 4 wide receivers you guys know I'm in love with this season. So this is the first time in this draft where it hasn't worked out for us. There were honestly like 4 wide receivers that we would have loved that next pick. Now we don't love these wide receivers. It's fine because we have Kupp, Lamb, Hill, and Thielen. That's 4 receivers. You have to start 3 every week. We'll probably start Thielen over Dobbins to start the season. Now we want, because we're probably going to be starting a lot of receivers here, we do want to lean towards wide receiver on our bench. We only have 6 bench spots. So we can consider a backup quarterback or a backup tight end. We don't even have a tight end yet. We're probably going to draft Schultz or Hawkinson at this pick. We'll consider a backup to one of those. And so we have 5 other spots. We probably want to go with 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs. So we'll think about that. We have 2 running backs and 2 wide receiver spots left. We'll probably reserve one of each of them for like a later round pick. So then we have 1. I don't want to use that 1 pick right now at wide receiver. I don't see anything standing out to me. Like Russell Gage is a really good pick. Other than that, I don't see anything that's like awesome. And so I think I'm going to wait. We're at the long range. Honestly, I don't actually expect a ton of wide receivers to go here. Like these teams have done, what they can to kind of fill in wide receiver. But now like all of them have 4 to 5. I guess one team has 3. But most of them are kind of locked up with their wide receivers. They have a good amount now. And so we could see them kind of shifting back to maybe some of these guys going with tight end here. Some maybe picking up another running back. And so I'm not concerned about waiting at wide receiver. And if we can get Gage in the next pick, that'd be phenomenal. I would consider grabbing our running back here. The top ranked would be Miles Sanders. I wonder, let's look at ADP. Schultz. So it's unlikely Schultz or Hawkinson would be there. Let's see. Like I said before, Hawkinson ahead of Schultz, not by a lot, but by a little bit at 64 and 70. We're at 84, so both really good values there. Miles Sanders at 73, not as good of a value, but still a good value. If we miss on Miles Sanders, we would probably end up with like a Chase Edmonds at the next pick, and he's my 90, so it would still be a fine pick, but it wouldn't be like a huge value. We already have Montgomery, Etienne, and Dobbins. I guess we know Sanders won't be their next pick. So would we rather risk losing out on Schultz and Hawkinson? What do we think the odds are that those guys come off the board? This team has, I didn't even notice that, Kelsey and Andrews. So interesting there. Not a good strategy. None of the other, I guess Kyle Pitts. Ooh, I really think one of them is coming off the board. That's a tough one. What would you guys do? Put that in the comment section. Do you take Miles Sanders here? Do you take Dalton Schultz here? Because it's a really big decision for us in the draft. So in the back of my head, I'm leaning towards taking the tight end because your goal is always to build that super team. And I think after we get through this like Schultz, Hawkinson range, especially Hawkinson with like Jameson Williams probably not starting the season fully healthy. He's just going to have so many targets, such a really solid player. We get into a range that I still like, but we would wait like a long time. And with, a 10-team league, there's a little bit more of me wanting to gain that edge at the position. And I'm probably not going to be starting Miles Sanders as much. I know Sanders is a nice value here, but part of me wants to lock up that tight end. There's just a part of me that's screaming, it is possible one of them is there. And if I take Sanders and then one of these guys is there, that's awesome. Let me pull up the tight end rankings. I promise I'll make the pick soon. We have a tight end. So after those two go, we would have actually a pretty big drop. A pretty significant drop down to Dawson Knox at 101. And so we'd probably have to wait a little bit longer to grab tight end. I'm going to take Hawkinson. And then I'm sure Schultz won't even get drafted. Oh my goodness, it happened. So he probably wouldn't have come off the board had we not done that. All right, I probably should have taken Miles Sanders at that pick because Miles Sanders goes right after us. A bunch of running backs come off the board. They went back to those positions. Defense goes. So this wild team that has gone Kelsey and Andrews, also the first team to take a defense. Very interesting tactic for them to do. So that stinks. So that was the first time that we we did end up making a mistake. Schultz still on the board. Theoretically, if you wanted to draft Schultz here as well, grab another pick at a value, you could. But it ends up where we're just going to go with Edmonds. He's the value for us at running back. We figured that we would probably end up getting him at our next pick. Schultz does end up going, so we're not going to end up with him. So let's bring it back to our board here. My thinking is we're not going to take a backup quarterback. I was talking about that before because we have Josh Allen. I'm thinking we honestly don't take a backup tight end having TJ Hawkinson in a 10-team league. Maybe if it was 12 or 14 teams, just because, I mean, I expect like Fant, Irv, Thomas, Higbee, Everett, like all these guys to be on free agency. I don't really think people are going to load up on a ton, especially with only 6 bench spots in the 10-team league. And so I feel confident that like there'll be some like really good options for us if Hawkinson got hurt, if Hawkinson wasn't that good. So I think it'll be more beneficial for us to use these last 4 bench picks for wide receiver and running back. We've been in wide receiver for a while. Again, we have Kupp, we have Lamb, we have Tyreek Hill, we have Adam Thielen, so we don't need this position. But we've abandoned it for a while, and so I kind of want to go back to it. I'll pull up the wide receiver rankings real quick. And let's see who would be the top on the board. Quick glance, it seems like, so Lazard is gone, right? Yeah, Lazard's off the board. Tony. Looks like Tony's off the board. Woods is gone. Looks like MVS is actually the next ranked player, but is this the long turn? Okay, it's the long turn, so maybe he won't be there, but I was thinking maybe he'll be there at the next pick. Who would I have between like this kind of tier? It's got to be between Wilson and Olave. Are they significant steps down from? Because I have an 87 MVS. You guys know I'm not like in love with him, but I mean, pretty significant value right now. It would be Wilson then Olave. Wilson at 96, so still a good pick. Another decision. Do we risk it? Grab... Where's Jahan Dotson in these rankings? Oh my goodness, way down here. So do we risk it? Grab Garrett Wilson. Hope the MVS is there at the next pick. Go back to running back. Then draft Dotson. Then draft running back. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Let's see if we can do that. You could take James Cook here if you wanted to. I think with only needing like probably only one more running back, maximum 2, I don't think we need to do that. So take him. Nice. It looks like MVS is still going to be there. So we'll take MVS. We'll look at running back here where we're probably going to end up taking, my guess is Nyheim Hines would be the top running back off the board. And I feel good enough about Montgomery, Etienne, Dobbins, Edmonds to where I don't, like I can just take kind of like a safe pick that's just going to be like a fill-in. I don't think those guys are all going to bust, and I'm going to need to rely on this pick every week. And, you know, Hines is a running back where it's like, if I just throw him out there, he's going to be okay. He's going to be totally fine for me. Yeah, it's Hines. Hines actually not even that far behind James Cook. So we'll take Hines. That gives us one more bench spot. Now we kind of have to think, do we want this to be another wide receiver? Like, what do we think the odds are? I mean, Kupp, Lamb, Hill, Thielen, Garrett Wilson, MVS. What are the odds this pick is actually needed for us? Running back, Montgomery, Etienne, Dobbins, Edmonds, Hines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 3, 4, 5, 6. I think you actually should go wide receiver. You should probably go wide receiver with this pick. Do I even have like I love Dotson, but there's some really good wide receivers still on the board right now. I actually don't think Dotson would be my top wide receiver. Boyd's not on the board, right? Boyd is on the board. Yeah, but Boyd would be ahead of Dotson, not by a significant amount, but it would be Boyd. Then it would be Sky Moore. So let's take Boyd. And again, I don't think we need to go with the backups here. Like I said, Fant, Herb Smith, Higbee, Everett, like all those guys are still on the board on free agency. So there's no real need to grab them. Um, Defense, let me pull up. I'll pull up a new tab here, and I will grab. Where are the defense rankings? Oh, they're under rankings, huh? Obviously. All right, let's pull up the defense rankings. Because I don't know off the top of my head. It is going to be the Colts. Colts play at Texans, at Jaguars to open things up. Oh, they're already off the board. All right, well, they already got taken. But Colts would be one of the top defenses. Rams before that. Rams, tough start, but it's home versus the Bills. But then they get versus Falcons. That's really nice. Not a fantastic schedule to open up, but such a good defense that you're gonna really want them. So I think this turned out really, really nicely. A lot of upside with this team. The one decision we probably should have done differently was instead of taking Hawkinson here, and it's basically instead of having Hawkinson and Chase Edmonds, we should have been able to upgrade Chase Edmonds into Miles Sanders and then probably still have TJ Hawkinson. So I think that was the one mistake. From a process standpoint, I don't know that it was a mistake. I think that when we looked at things, like it was likely that a tight end run was coming. We predicted it a little bit too early, but at the end of the day, we still ended up with Hawkinson, who's going to be a phenomenal tight end for us. So, final roster. Josh Allen, David Montgomery, Travis Etienne, Cooper Kupp, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Hawkinson, Dobbins, and the Rams. Bench options, Thielen, Edmonds, Garrett Wilson, MVS, Naheem Hines, Tyler Boyd. I'll maybe be back tomorrow with a live stream. I'm not sure yet. I'll let you guys know on Twitter. Wednesday will be strategy video. Thursday's going to be a player breakdown. That, my friends, is the end of this one. Hope you all enjoy. If you did, how about hitting the like button? How about subscribing to the channel if you're new here? Thanks for watching.